entrance. Hey everybody, hi, welcome. Happy Whimsical Wednesday. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm really excited about tonight's project. We are going to be playing with some texture additive called Sea Spray. A lot of you may be familiar with it, but I think a lot of you are not familiar with it, or maybe even more than that, have never even tried it. And it is one of my favorite products for sure, and I don't use it online a lot because it's super messy. I think we're good. I think I have everything that I need. Welcome to Dixie Belle's page. This is Dixie Belle's Facebook and Dixie Belle's Instagram. My name is Tracey. My business name is Tracey's Fancy. I have tagged my business above. I would love it if you would click on that and go over and give me a follow as well on my page. I'm a brand ambassador for Dixie Belle Paint, one of their several brand ambassadors. We have many retailers and content creators and brand ambassadors that go live right here on Dixie Belle's pages, Facebook and Instagram, all week long. Just teaching. We do it. It doesn't cost a thing. You just show up on Facebook at a certain time on a certain day, and you can learn all sorts of things around the clock, basically, every single day of the week. And all of us have different styles. We all use the same products, but Dixie Belle has a plethora of products, a slew of products, everything you can imagine, from paints to glazes to clear waxes, colored waxes, scented butters, two different types of paint, problem solvers like slick stick that will allow you to paint on glass and metal, and B.O.S.S, which we're going to use tonight, which is a blocking primer and an odor blocker, which is really helpful when you're painting used furniture that you're picking up off of Craigslist or Marketplace, because they all, unfortunately, most of them come with an attached smell as well, so that's really helpful. Let's see what else. They carry the patina line that will allow you to make things rusty or crusty or look like a copper patina, or literally turn it to rust before your very eyes. Oh my gosh, I could just go on and on. They have everything that you can imagine. So all of that product is open and available to those of us that are online, and we share it with you every single day, so you will hopefully be intrigued and want to try it out and see Dixie Belle as your one-stop shop for DIY projects. And if you've never tried a DIY painting project, just keep watching, because we really break it down and we make it super simple, and we're also a really tight-knit community. So that brings me on to this right now. Matt, can you tell us, how are we doing? We got people live.
We're doing good.
Anyway, Matt is my husband. He's behind the camera.
Hi guys.
He just helps out. So, okay, so let's talk about this table behind me, guys. Two things. Have you ever tried Sea Spray? Yes or no? I would love a yes or no. Just let me know. Matt, will you watch for those, please? Yes or no? I would love to know what the heavy answer here is if you tried Sea Spray.
Nope. Most say no.
Awesome. Okay, well, great. I'm going to teach you something then tonight for sure. This is Sea Spray, and I'm actually going to do a giveaway tonight. We're going to do a giveaway tonight. We're going to give away some Sea Spray, and I already have your name. It was the very first person on my page to answer it correctly. So I will reach out to you in a private message. Everybody watch the private message box, and I'm going to be sending you some Sea Spray to try for yourself, okay? Because someone was like on it. Okay, so this wooden table here behind me, I'm going to pull it out a little bit so y'all can see. This is a table that I actually picked up at Goodwill and loved it. Really loved it. This is what it looks like without primer on it. This is just primer. So this is what it looks like without primer, because I've only done one side. So here it is. It's actually beautiful. It's beautiful wood. Matt really liked it. We don't have anywhere for it. I want to paint it. Very beat up on the top. Okay, so I'm spinning this back around for you. And there we go. So when I cleaned this, I used white lightning. I sprayed the entire thing down with white lightning, which is Dixie Belle's cleaner. It's an amazing cleaner. I let it sit for a little bit, and then I go in and I just rub it down really well with a cloth. And I mean, all sorts of stain and wood tannins were coming out. This piece is really old. I'm pretty sure it's made by hand. You can tell, look at this drawer. I mean, it's an old.
Yeah.
So anyway, I knew that I needed, I did white lightning. I wiped it all down. I could tell that we were going to have bleed through. So I washed it down with water, wiped it all off, and I went ahead and used B.O.S. primer. So this is B.O.S. primer. It comes in white, clear, and gray. I used gray tonight. And then I did 2 coats of B.O.S. on the top because I know that the top I'm going light, very, very light, actually white like fluff and drop cloth. And then as I go down, I'm going to go all the way down into black. So I'm going to do whites and grays and black. I'm going to do a very earthy, natural, cementy tone piece. I've done this look before on a jewelry armoire, as like a stone type jewelry armoire. I also did it on a knife block before, like a stone finished cement type knife block. So I used gray B.O.S. because I did not want bleed through coming through on my white and my drop cloth. I really did not need B.O.S. down here, but I just did it anyway, just in case I started working and I changed my mind. So my application for B.O.S., I'm not going to do it now, but I'm going to tell you. I just used a chip brush, and instead of brushing it on, because I'm going for a textured look anyway with sea spray, right? So because it's an additive to my paint that's going to make my paint really thick and like crumbly and be able to add a lot of texture surface to it. So I painted, I pounced my B.O.S. on. So it's not like a painted finish, it's a pounced finish, which is actually a really nice finish for your primer. So that's that. So this is gray, I love it. So let's go ahead and start putting our sea spray together. So I've got a bowl here. Can they see down here on the floor, babe?
Nope.
Okay, so this is where I'm gonna be. So I know that I'm going to do very black at the bottom, and it'll gradually get lighter and lighter and lighter as I go up towards the top. So if I do black at the bottom, this is my black, and then let's say I do Gravel Road, which is a darker brownish gray, and then I go up into, what did I do, Manatee Gray, and then this is the progression of my table. And then a white, okay? So I'm kind of mixing the whites on the top. So this is my color palette right here, very natural, right? So I don't want to put white all over the whole thing, and I don't really want to put black all over the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and start in the middle with this charcoalish gray color. Or actually, no, I'm going to start in the very middle. I'm going to start with this gray and Manatee Gray. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put it all in right here, and then we'll darken it as we go. We'll just add some black to it as we go. So sea spray looks like cornstarch. It comes in this blue bag, this Tiffany blue bag that I love. It's texture additive. What does it say here? This bag has enough sea spray for 2 quarts, which this is a quart of Dixie Belle paint. Now that's a lot. That's really thick. Okay, that's super, super thick, y'all. So honestly, I do about half of what it says here, unless I'm going for a hardcore, like, what's that called? Mortar? Like mortar between brick?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless I'm going for like a hardcore, thick mortar. It really depends on where you live and your humidity and the paint that you're using. Have you had your paint open before? Was it already kind of thick? This is a new jar. This is a new jar, not brand spanking new, but it's 8 ounces. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the whole thing into this bowl. So the instructions actually say to use 2 level scoops to 8 ounces of paint. So I am just going to start with 1 scoop. And I've got a spoon, just one of my shop spoons here. I'm just going to spoon out all the paint. Don't want to waste it. Okay, so the scoop comes included. This is 1 scoop. Now the bag says 2 scoops to 8 ounces of paint. Mix another half a scoop if needed. If you want thick, brownie, batter-like consistency, that's how they say to do it. But I'm gonna do, that's gonna give you really, really thick. So I'm gonna do 1 scoop, and then we're just gonna stir it, okay? Now, why would you do this? Why on earth would you add this to your paint? Have you seen pieces that look super, super layered, and they just look so thick, they look like they've been painted and they've been around forever, and you know, every generation's put a new color paint on them, and you can see where they've like kind of knocked off some of the colors, and you can see all the colors beneath it, and it feels rough, you know, to touch, which by the way, I don't usually do it like that on the top. I usually save all the real thick, rough stuff for the sides. I'll put a little bit in some sea spray for on the top, but I worry about like when you dust your furniture, I don't really want to be dusting over something that's like super lumpy and bumpy. So, will you show this to them right now, babe, so they can see up close, like hold that up close to the camera and see what it's looking like. It's not stirred up yet all the way, but that to me looks like brownie batter. So where I am in San Antonio, Texas, it's pretty dry here. In what?
Nothing.
What are you gonna say?
Is it dry here?
Yeah, compared to Florida. Dixie Belle's in Florida. So it's super humid where Dixie Belle is, and that's where their testing is.
Gotcha.
And I feel like they probably can get away with adding more paint, where San Antonio, to my opinion, is very dry. Just kind of gagged on some of the powder. And so we don't have that humidity in the air like that here. So to me, this is brownie-like texture. Yeah. But it's not going to get you lots of peaks and valleys, which is what you want. So you can just do it like this and put it on, and you're going to get a nice thick paint. Or if you let it sit for just a little bit, you will get an even thicker paint, because this actually starts to set up in the bowl. And this is kind of how I like to do it. I like to put it on and let it set up for a few minutes. It doesn't take very long. And then decide if you want more, because I'm going to tell you, if I were to do 2 full scoops, which I do sometimes, it is so thick so fast for me here in my climate, in the summer especially, that you would think you could just add more paint to it and keep mixing. It would thin back out, and it does not. That's a lot of work. It doesn't do that. So start thin. Start thin. It's already thickening up. Look at this. It's already thickening up. It's coming off coming off my spoon in big chunks instead of a stream. See that? So just telling you, start with 1 scoop and then work your way up to like 2.5 scoops for 8 ounces. Okay, so now let me tell you, if I could get to my Alice in Wonderland nightstands, I'd pull them forward for you. I did the gold leafing on the side, the black and white checkerboard and the gold leafing. I'll be posting them again on Sunday. I did this under gold leaf. You can do it under paint. It is amazing then when you put a black wax or any type of the colored wax on them. It picks up, it leaves so much room for depth and dimension by doing this. It's visual interest. It's visual interest and also tactile, because it feels differently.
Can you save what you don't use?
No.
Once it's mixed?
No. I mean, I've never tried to save it like in an airtight container, but I wouldn't think so. Okay, so this is good. This is a brownie-like texture, but let me show you. Oh, shoot, I didn't mean to use this brush. I don't want to use this brush. Okay, this is my premium chip brush.
Pam, that's sea spray texture additive.
Yeah, sea spray texture additive. Hey, will you go wash this out?
Sure. Okay.
If you're gonna wash out in your sink, this is fine, but you don't want to wash your bowls full of this stuff out in the sink, because guys, it dries like cement. Okay. So these are my premium chip brushes, and I love them, but I don't like to use them for sea spray. So I like to use just the little cheapy chip brushes. Do you see the difference? This one's a little cheapy one. This one's the premium one that Dixie Belle carries, the premium one. I use these for all the time. I pounced all my B.O.S. on here with these. But I don't want to get my sea spray in there and it dry.
You need a brush back?
I might, babe. I might. Thank you. So this is a brand new little chippy brush. Let me just fluff it here, defluff it, and I just, okay, so if I were to start putting some of this on, you don't want to brush it on. You want to pounce it on like this. Just like this. Now, I can tell that this is a smoother version, okay? So I'm going to have some peaked areas, and Matt's washing my brush right now, or else he would probably bring y'all in a little bit closer. But I'm going to put this on like this, but you can add to it. So if you've never used it before, it's okay. Ooh, careful, man. Thank you. It's okay to go with this version right here. And then you can do it again. Once it dries, you can do it again. So you want to give yourself some of these peaks on purpose. That's what you're after. Do you see how the brush is? Those aren't clumps. That's not clumpy. It's peaks. It's where my it's pulling up and it's making like mountains and valleys. And that's
Diane
what
says she saves fine in a closed container.
Oh, really? Okay, well, it makes sense that it would, but I have not. But if I leave it out on my shop counter and I come back and I haven't used it, it's like, it's toast. It's like a big wad, dry. Okay, so that's that. So I can add a little bit more and thicken it up. So let's do that, and we'll put some over on this other side. I'm going to add about another half a scoop. Did I already add another half a scoop? I can't remember.
What color is that?
This is Manatee Gray.
Manatee Gray.
Manatee Gray. This is B.O.S.S. This is Gray B.O.S.S. and this is Manatee Gray. So now I'm putting in I put in a half a scoop. I'm going to stir this up, just see if we can make it a little bit thicker. Now on my Alice in Wonderland nightstands that I just did, if you have not seen them, I have a blog. Is Debbie on?
Yes, she is.
Debbie, do you just share that, if she didn't already, share the Alice in Wonderland nightstand blog from like 2 weeks ago. You'll see on the sides of those nightstands that I used sea spray, and it was very, very thick. And I couldn't even use a brush to put it on. I had to smear it on with my hands. Like I had to smear it. And you can apply this with a palette knife if it's too thick. Just use a palette knife and put it on, just like if you were using spackle on a wall. You can do it like that. Actually, Deb, will you grab me one of my palette knives? I think they're over there.
Valerie says she watched Emily Roth use it, so she bought some to try out. She said, you should see my craft room. It's Dixie Belle Overload.
Yes.
Has just about every product I make.
Yes.
Kay says, too cool. Evelyn says, you said you pounce your B.O.S.S on. Why do you not brush it on?
Well, if I'm going to go for texture anyway, that's what I do. But also, I like the pounce look. It's super smooth. I'll take this drawer out and have Matt hold it up for you, or maybe you can see it here.
I'm looking for one.
There is 0 brush strokes when you pounce. 0.
I don't know if you can tell. Okay. I don't know if I can notice that.
Okay. Well, I was going for more of a texture look. Instead,
Whoops.
it gave me just like a really, what'd you do?
I kicked the tripod.
It gave me a sprayed look. And if you think about this, let's think about theory here for a second. If you spray paint, which is a really smooth finish, right? So if you spray it, it sprays down and it just sprays down and it lands on the surface in a bunch of tiny droplets. And then it just flattens out like a puddle and it just runs together, right? That's why it's so smooth. So when we brush paint and we overbrush it and we overbrush it and we overbrush it, we're running through that paint back and forth and we're making like roads, okay? So that's what brush strokes are.
Yep.
So if you want a sprayed look with a brush, don't know if you've tried it, but if you will do it, the synthetic brushes work great, which, oh, I didn't bring any out here. The premium chip brushes, the synthetic brushes, very lightly put your paint on like this. You're delivering it and lifting your brush up, delivering it, don't overdo it, and it puts it on the surface and then it just flattens out like a puddle. Now, Dixie Belle is very, very self-leveling paint anyway, so even if you brush it on, it's still going to kind of level it out and fill in those roads that you've created. But people tend to go way too much and it keeps trying to set itself up and they gotta swipe back through there again when it's already tried to self-level. So pouncing works just as well. So that's how I do it here. Okay, so I've got a little bit thicker. Oh yeah, look at this, guys. Look. That is not quite 2 scoops. So see, it said 2 scoops, but for here, for me, my climate, it gets pretty thick, pretty fast. So that's not quite 2 scoops, okay, to 8 ounces of paint. So now, if I use this, I'm literally putting on like a completely different skin. You see the look of that one compared to the look of this one. Now you can get this look over there by adding another layer, but this is going to take a little bit longer to dry. Now, this is super peaked and valley, like super, and you can do it like this. You can put bubble wrap in it. You know, you can use textured items to add more texture and get a lot of pull going. But what you also can do is add it here, let it start to dry, and when it's about halfway set up, when it's about halfway dry, you can come back with like a palette knife, or you can even use, I didn't bring this out for this, but you can even use the thingamajig. Have y'all seen this yet? This is the brand new thingamajig by Dixie Belle. It's literally called the thingamajig. And it is a silicone, very bendable applicator to be used with the silkscreen stencils. But you also can use this, once this is about halfway dry, you can get your thingamajig and just lightly, very lightly, take it over those peaks, and it'll knock those peaks over and kind of flat, and you'll get that drug cement look, like it's been dragged, you know, and it gets the bubbles and pockets in the cement. That's how you'll get that. You don't leave it like this. You let it start to dry, and then you'll just drag this through it, or you can use a palette knife and just kind of lay them flat. You don't put pressure to it. Okay, sorry. So I'm gonna add some more over here on this side so that they're kind of the same, and then I'm gonna go in and flatten out some of my valleys, my peaks here in just a little bit.
Ashley said she just watched Chris Donna's use it super thick too on a piece last week. Looks very cool with layers of color.
Yeah, it does. When you use layers of color, it does look really good. And I'm not doing a lot of color on this one. I like using it, I do love using it with layers of color, but I also like using it for natural looks because it looks like stone or cement. Because especially when you go back with like the B.O.S.S Stained Wax Black or the B.O.S.S Stained Wax White, you know how cement gets that white salty look over the top of it? This will allow you to get that look. So do we have any questions, you guys, about sea spray? Do you have any questions about it? So this isn't the artistic part of it right now, guys. This is building the foundation for it. But I don't want you to be afraid of it. I wanted to show you how it goes on. I don't usually apply it on camera because it's kind of boring, but it's important to understand how it works, how to use it. So I felt like I needed to do a live with it on. The fun part is when you start adding all the different colors.
Yeah.
I did not.
I don't pay much
So this
attention
is
to
a
life.
really smoothed out version, but it is, can they see up close?
Mm-hmm.
They can see the texture in it?
I believe so.
How about on the back side? Look at this side. So this one is a very smoothed out version. It's in the kitchen, so I didn't want to make it super, you know, super chunky. Can you do it, babe? I can't. Do it. Sure. So that when I black waxed it, so that is, I think that's Manatee Gray and black wax, I think. And those are Would You Bend. Both of those Would You Bend are Dixie Belle Would You Bends as well. How many of y'all have done a knife block? I know lots of people have done them now. Speak now, forever hold your peace. So I see how impressed you are with my knife block, babe.
Oh, it's awesome, baby. Good job.
Oh, it is thick, y'all. Look. See? So if I wanted it even thicker, instead of adding more to it, I could just let this set up even longer, and then you can come in and start adding it with your hand.
If you decide it's not the look you're going for, can you remove it? You ever tried scraping or sanding that?
You wouldn't scrape it. You'd have to sand it. Yeah, you'd have to sand it.
Do you use sea spray in the additional colors?
I'm going to advise to be really sure before you do it. Be sure it's the look you're going for before you do it. This is not a change. You know, we always say, oh, it's just paint. Change your mind. No, this is just paint and sea spray. So you probably should be sure. What was the question about color, babe?
You could just paint over that as a primer, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do now because I didn't. You don't have to mix up sea spray with every individual color. You don't. You don't have to do that. You can just build your texture, just like, you know, you just build your texture and then go in and be artistic with your color wherever you want. Unless you want to put more texture in areas in a different color, then you just do that. All right, let me check this up here. That's still very wet.
Some of that.
It's too wet to, yeah, will you give us some air and perfect. I was hoping that it would start to set up enough that we'd be able to kind of knock some of that down, so that you could see what I meant, but it's not yet. Because
How long does that take to dry?
it just depends. It depends on how thick you made it. It depends on where you are. It depends on what the weather's like. And honestly, I get better texture if I do use the premium chip brush, but I was down to like 2 premium chip brushes, and usually up with sea spray, I throw it away. Okay, I'm gonna just do the side, and then I'm gonna go over there and do that side.
I was joking. You can't listen harder. You hear what you hear.
Oh, you can listen harder.
You can listen harder?
You need to listen harder. You need to listen harder all the time. What's up with husbands? What's up with husbands and kids not listening? Hmm?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. What'd you say?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
On the bottom left corner of that drawer,
Yeah.
you might want to tap that a little more.
Tap it.
The bottom's coming out. Yeah.
Okay, so while this sets up, I actually thought we might use that thingamajig, but I'm going to turn this. Let me turn this while I don't want to waste this. I don't want to waste this sea spray. So I know it looks crazy. It looks kind of crazy right now.
Amber said you just inspired Katie to use sea spray big time.
Yay! Yay! I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. All right, are we good? We're pretty covered. Pretty covered. Now, also, I told y'all, I forgot to tell you something. So I told y'all that, what time is it?
Oh, there's a question here that I missed on Instagram. It says, so you could use your spatula and make swirls in the texture when you had your little knife thing out?
Absolutely, yeah. You can make swirls in it, dig in it, make designs in it, use your fingers, use, like I said, bubble wrap's really popular to use, put on things and it pull off and add texture. Crumple up some saran wrap's really popular, crumple that up and make texture in it. Yes, absolutely. So not only can you flatten your peaks out with this, but you can sand. So Dixie Belle has their sanding sponges that are a sponge on one side and a 220 grit sandpaper on the other side. You can also use the, oh gosh, what are the rad pads, right? Dixie Belle has the rad pads. Or this stuff sets up really hardy, y'all. You can use an electric sander. So let's say you do this and you layer a bunch of different colors. You can take an electric sander to it and really knock off some of these peaks and expose some of the color from underneath. Yes. Also, when it gets this thick, you guys look. You could actually put it on like this. I mean, I guess I can.
Chazza wants to know if you can use it on a stencil.
Oh my gosh, yes. So that's something else. So if you have a raised, a stencil and you want to make like a raised stencil. Actually, Matt, will you grab me a stencil? Okay. This is the Royal Damask stencil by Dixie Belle. So let's just do this on the side of the box for the heck of it, okay? Just for the heck of it. We're going to do this pretty quick. Okay, so here's a cardboard box. So you would just say that this is your drawer front or whatever, right? So then you would just scrape some of this out of your bowl, just like this, and you would just apply it like this. It's real easy. And when you're doing the stencil, you don't want to leave too much of it on the top. You want to scrape off as much as you can. And then you would lift it.
Yeah. Kind of gives it that, what is that, felt or velvet looking?
Yeah, like a plot.
Like that wallpaper.
Like a plot. Yeah. So that's raised. It's raised up off that box. Doesn't that look amazing? You don't want that thin brownie-like consistency when you're doing raised stencil. You want raised stencil to be very, very thick, just like this is, where it's not coming off. See that? It's like a Dairy Queen. What's it called? Dairy Queen?
Shai says, how easy does it wipe off the stencil?
Well, you need to wipe easily. But if you've got a lot of excess on your stencil or you're doing a big job, you don't really want to wash this off in the sink. You want to wash it off on a hose, but very easily.
She said, did you use clear sealer on your stencil first?
No.
That's a good idea for it to wash off easier.
Oh, it just comes right off. It just washes right off this mylar, whatever this is. It's called mylar. It just washes right off of it.
So it's not as fragile as mud once it dries?
No. I think, well, I don't know. I don't think that mud is fragile. Mud reactivates with water more easily than this does. So as long as you're not, the thing with mud is it'll reactivate with water, or if you're using a whole lot of paint over the top of it, sometimes it'll start to break down a little bit while you're working before it's had plenty of time to set up. So pretty cool, right? Mm-hmm. Thank you for asking about that, whoever said that.
How can she make it in gold? She makes gold paint?
You'd have to paint. You'd have to, no, the sea spray is gonna not, your metallic gold will not hold in the sea spray. It's not gonna hold. It's gonna dull your metallic. So you would need to make it with like you could use like a tan or something, a tan paint, something like that, and then just use a light brush or a finger and just do the gilding wax on the raised part. Or you can use a brush like this and go lightly, just like that, over the raised area. You just dust it, super feather dust, light, right over the raised area, and deliver your gold paint, like your mousse or your can't think, gilding wax. Okay, so I had applied this up here, right? But I don't really want to leave that because none of the rest of it looks like that. So I'm gonna go in here. Well, I'm gonna have to add some more. Let's really start to set up. Add some more here. And see how I'm also doing this? Like you can do these kind of design. You can cross hatch, whatever you want to do. Less than perfect is good. Obviously, I'm going to have to add a lot more all over here for this to be even. Okay, this is starting to set up over here. So real quick before we go, I am going to take my spatula. Okay, and I'm going to you want to come up close, babe? It may not be set. Yeah, I think it's set pretty good. Can you see this pretty good? Right here, can you see that pretty good? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm just going to take my spatula and I'm just going to run it like this. Just to put a little more pressure. You might have let it go too far. There we go. See how it's kind of dragging? And it takes all those sharp peaks off. You can go one way and you can go another. See how it's starting to look like cement? See how it's kind of, see that? See how it looks like when they stamp cement?
Mm-hmm. It's 10 till 8, babe.
I know, we're good. So I'm going to do this kind of all over. So you can do this or you can sand, but I prefer to do this because it is definitely less messy than sanding. Just go in and kind of knock it flat. So it's not so pokey. Okay? Okay. There he is right here. I really like that. We are going to go. Thank you so much.
Okay, now you're back.
And we're back. Okay, sorry Facebook, when Matt moves it too much, I'll know we freeze. So I hope you'll like this. I'm going to go and do this real quick before. I'm going to go over onto my page and come back over here and flatten all this out because I like this side a lot. I like that a lot, and that's what I want all of it to look like. So thank y'all for joining tonight. I really appreciate it. Be sure and follow me on my page, Tracey's Fancy. Check out my website, traceysfancy.com. Dixie Belle, thank you for having us. Thank you for the wonderful products. I will be reaching out to the lady who I screenshotted her name. She was the first one to answer my puzzle question today, so I'll be sending her some sea spray. I love you all. We will see y'all next Wednesday night And watch on my page, and you'll see these finished projects. What did we do last week? What did we start last week? Brandy's table. Brandy's table we did last week. I'll be sharing that not this Sunday, but next. It's finished, and it's really pretty. All right? Okay, guys, y'all take care. We'll see y'all soon. All right, bye.
Bye.